We have gathered you here this morning to share with you that our Synod for 2020 will be starting tomorrow, Wednesday, the 9th of September 2020. And of course, it will be running through Sunday, the 13th of September 2020. The Synod theme is "You shall be my witnesses," derived from Acts of Apostles chapter 1 verse 8. And the venue, of course, will be the Cathedral Church of St. Mary's, Uruago, NNEWI. Part of what we are going to do in that Synod, of course, we know that the Synod is the most important part of the church life. It is at the Synod that serious resolutions are taken as to how the diocese will be driven or will be piloted. In the Synod, all the institutions of the church, or the schools, or the groups, or the organizations, or the churches will turn in their reports, how they have fared within the particular Synod year under review. And then at that Synod, the Synod delegates will look critically at all the reports and then take decisions. Look at the challenges, look at the prospects, look at the benefits or the progresses made within the Synod here under review. And then also take certain drastic decisions as to how to better the lot of both the churches, groups, organizations, and what have you. And also, at the Synod, it is also expected that the bishop will also give the diocese a sense of direction. It's like a time wherein the bishop will give his report card, as it were, concerning what he has done in from the last Synod to the particular Synod that we are talking about. Like in my own case, we came on board September last year, and we are just privileged because of COVID-19. COVID-19 now made it possible for us to be holding our Synod September 2020, which is just approximately 1 year of our being on the saddle of the leadership of this diocese. So it's like we will be given our 1 year report, what we saw on the ground, what we've been able to do, and what we think we can do to see that this diocese moves from a particular level of glory to another level of glory. So the bishop will be given his charge. Although the details of what will happen in this Synod is that on Wednesday we'll be leaving this bishop's court, and the first port of call will be at the palace of the Obi of Uruago, Obi Afamefuna Ogidi, the fort of Uruago. So we'll be going to his palace, where we'll meet with them. This is in line with the tradition of what we saw our elders did, those that brought this gospel to us. They have a tradition that anytime they enter into a particular community, they will first of all go and report to the traditional ruler of that particular town. So in line with that tradition, we'll be going to the traditional ruler of Uruago. And then we'll have a tete with him and members of his palace. We will talk, we will share some thoughts, and then do some greetings and share some things with them. And from that palace, if they have given us, or if they will give us a hand of fellowship, which we are very positive and optimistic that they will do, then we will move from that palace straight to the Cathedral Church of St. Mary, where we will hold our opening rally service. Then after the service, of course, the bishop will have the pleasure of blessing the town, and then we look at our time. If we still have some time left, then we move into the first practical meeting for the day. That will take us to around evening, when we will close officially and then resume the following day. The following day will just be deliberations, be taking reports, and then we'll be looking at the issues concerning various aspects of the diocese. And then on Friday, 11 September, will be the D-Day. It is on that day that we will throw our ranks open. We are going to invite people. We ask the general public to come, and then people will now come and sit down, and they will listen to what we call the bishop's charge. And then in that charge, the bishop is expected to highlight maybe some of the things that he's been able to do, and then what he intends to do with the diocese. And after that, he will solicit for funding, because we really need funds to drive the diocese. That's exactly the major thing that will happen on that Friday. And on Saturday, of course, we move into the closing sessions. We'll also have some deliberations, and then we do the closing ceremony. On Sunday, we just be general thanksgiving, where we thank God for enabling us hold what we know will be a very successful synod. So this, in a nutshell, will be the highlight of what will be happening from Wednesday to Sunday. Now, I also want to say that the reason for choosing the theme, "You shall be my witnesses," is born out of a burden that has been in my heart for quite some time, looking at what is happening in Nigeria as a nation, and looking at the Igbo race particularly. You discover that not too long ago we started seeing hundreds, if not thousands, of Northerners who are mostly Muslims flooding the southern part of Nigeria, invading our space. And I also looked and I observed that anytime we go out for evangelism, once we see this Aboki man, in inverted commas, the tendency to do him jump and pass is always there. We have this notion that the gospel does not belong to them, that these people cannot be beneficiaries of the gospel. And so our missionary exploit, our evangelistic thrust, normally is targeted at our fellow Igbos, those we think are the ones that need the gospel. And then I think this is an anomaly. I felt then that it's important that we create a kind of an atmosphere, a kind of a forum where we use this gospel to reach out to every individual, irrespective of your ethnic coloration, your religious background, irrespective of where you are coming from, that every human being must, as a matter of fact, hear this gospel from us, those of us who are Christians, especially those of us who are born again. And so this burden started, and then I wasn't a bishop. I was still an archdeacon in charge of missions in the diocese where I was. So I started sharing it with my bishop. I started doing one or two things on my own with the blessing of the bishop. So eventually, when I now became a bishop, I saw it as, wow, wonderful. So I don't have to go and take permission from anybody now. I now have to do exactly what God has laid in my heart. And then I decided that this diocese will be the first beneficiary of that particular body. So I decided to use it as my first synod theme. You shall be my witnesses. And then in the course of looking at the theme, we'll be discovering how we can be witnesses and who we shall be witnessing to, and why it's important for us to engage in witnessing. Now, having studied again the Christian church in different climes, for instance, if you look at South Korea and then you look at China, you discover that less than about 100 years ago or thereabout, there were actually no churches in South Korea. In Korea, not just South Korea, Korea as a nation, both South and North. But today, one can easily say that South Korea is a Christian nation. How did that miracle come to be? Simply because those of them that got the gospel decided to engage on person-to-person witnessing. The man that has what used to be the largest church in the whole world, Yonggi Cho, if you look at his books, read his books and see his testimony, you discover that his strategy was simply not crusade, not the kind of things that we are doing here, but encouraging his people to engage in person-to-person witnessing. That, of course, is less effective when it comes to funding. You don't have to fund it. You don't have to spend money. And yet it is more productive and more rewarding. Then if you look at China again, the missionaries came to China around 1820, 1830. That was the first time missionaries came to China. And then from that 1830 to 1950, a period of about 120 years, when the communists took over in China. And of course, they expelled all the missionaries, all the foreign missionaries, asked them to go. The number of Christians in China was just about 2 million. 2 million Christians in the whole of China after about 120 years of doing the kind of mission that these missionaries that brought this gospel to us, they did that kind of missionary exploit in China. So after 120 years, they had only 2 million. But when those missionaries were expelled from China, and then the indigenous Chinese now took over the gospel, and then they started engaging in person-to-person witnessing from 1950 to 1970, when the likes of Watchman Nee and many of them were thrown into prison. The number of Christians has already skyrocketed from 2 million to 20 million under 20 years. And then from 1970 to 1920, it rose to about 60 million. From 1970 to 1990, it rose from 20 million to 60 million. Then from 1990 to 2020 today, if you go to Google and ask Google how many Christians are in China, the first report you get is 200 million. And yet, China is supposed to be the country that is most antagonistic to the Christian faith. That's the simple strategy. The people were engaging, or they have continued to engage in person-to-person witnessing, and the numbers keep growing. So I said to myself, why are we wasting all this money doing crusade? Why can't we adopt the same strategy and get better results? So that was what was at the back of my mind when I decided, I believe under the leading of the Holy Spirit, that we should look at this theme critically and then see how we can start changing the mindset of our people, and then making them to know that this gospel can still get to people in our respective communities without our spending too much money, but by dedication and commitment of those of us who have received this gospel. So that is just what drove me into choosing this theme for the year. And good enough, of course, this synod would have taken place between May 31 and June 4 or thereabouts, or June 3. Now, because of COVID-19, we now deferred it to now. You also discovered that gave us an opportunity to use our CMS anniversary week, which we termed Mission Week, to do a kind of experiment, to experiment on this theme. Now, what happened then was that we encouraged the clergy and the church workers, and then we also mobilized the missionary evangelists, shared the vision with them, and then encourage them to move out to their respective communities and then apply what we are now discussing in this theme. And beautiful enough, many people were committed to that vision. Most of the clergymen, they responded. And then the impact was also very heavy. They now went back. In fact, there's nobody that crossed through any community in Diocese of NNEWI within that week that did not observe that something was happening. People were preaching the gospel in road junctions, houses were being visited, hospitals, offices, even buses. We entered into buses, we sponsored people, they entered into buses and preached the gospel, going to different towns and coming back. So that's the kind of thing, just that 1 week. But I know that the impact was very heavy. So that's what we are trying to say. If we can continue to replicate what happened within that mission week, periodically in our different communities, and then people adopt it as a lifestyle. Churches adopt it as a lifestyle. Groups and organizations take it as a vision, adopt it as their mission. Okay, you discover that 2-3 years down the line, I want to assure you that there is no church that will remain the same. You discover that people, in fact, the growth will be exponential. It will be mind-boggling. And that is exactly where we are going. So these are the reasons for our choosing that theme. And of course, this is exactly what the Synod is all about. I believe I have captured in essence, in a very short time, what the Synod is all about. And so if you can now come in with your questions, maybe your questions will now enable me to go into more details. Okay? Thank you.
We begin with the Sun newspaper. We are ready to entertain your question.
My Lord, thank you once again for the address. It's quite comprehensive. We know where you're going. And my questions are two and very simple. Number one is, what are you going to do differently from, in the synods we're going to have this around as your first synod as a bishop, aside what we're having in the past. Then secondly, the evangelical mission you have told us about, how are you going to go about it? Because these abokis, for instance, there's a language barrier. How are you going to go about it? Thank you very much.
Okay, let me start with the second question. These abokis, I don't even believe that there is any language barrier or there is too much language barrier. The truth is that many of them understand English, many of them, but they will pretend that they don't understand. But when you engage them on a personal note, you discover that if they can't understand good English, they will understand broken English. That is the truth about it. So once you keep insisting and talking, they will understand. And I'm sure of what I'm saying, even though they normally pretend, because many of them are also on mission. They are here on mission. They know why they have come. But I think it is only through the gospel that we can disarm them and then turn them into instruments in the hands of the Lord, that God can now use them also to go back and take this gospel to their people. So that is just the idea. All these people who are selling suya, all these people who are, rearing cattle here and there, all of them are mission fuels, and we must see them as mission fuels. We must encourage ourselves to, let me not use the word confront them, but let me use the word engage them meaningfully with the gospel and be persistent about it, be consistent about it. When I was the vicar in Ascension Anglican Church, I went to the extent of having an Hausa service in my church. We started by holding Hausa services 12 o'clock. After engaging these Hausas, we made it, we were committed to engaging these people with the gospel. And God gave, when you back it up with prayer, when you know what you are doing and you back it up with prayer, God will give you breakthrough. Okay? So when we now got some of them, we started holding services for them. Okay, and then at a time we have to engage missionaries from Hausa land that will be speaking to them in Hausa too. Okay, and we started paying those missionaries. We gave them houses inside our church. We spent money to make sure that we hold that service. That service continued to hold until I left the church. It was when I left that I don't know what happened to it again. But that's by the way. And also, when we saw that 12 o'clock service was not convenient for them, we pushed it down to 9 o'clock. What happened was that we stopped children's service for 9 o'clock service. So 9 o'clock service, the children will worship with the elders, okay, with the elderly people, and then the houses will now do their service. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm talking from experience. That language cannot be a barrier. Okay, and then the first question: what am I going to do differently? Lots and lots of things. I will do lots and lots of things differently. For instance, starting with the language, the first thing that will happen on that Friday when I will be reading my charge is that people will discover that I will give my presidential charge in Igbo language. That is doing something different. So, and it's not a question of maybe that I'll be showing the English and I'll be both the PowerPoint, everything will be in Igbo. So if you cannot read Igbo very well, I will advise you to just listen to me, okay? But the PowerPoint will be in Igbo. So, and when they get the charge, they will discover that the charge is written both in English and in Igbo. So we have the English version, have the Igbo version, all of them in one booklet. I think that's a different thing. Nobody has ever done that. so that is that. And then the second thing that you will discover is that all the communities in this diocese have been mobilized to be part of the synod, all of them. And then on that day, you will discover also that every community will come up to identify with the bishop. I think also that it's a landmark. It's going to be a landmark. I have never seen it before, and this is the first time it's going to happen. So everybody, in fact, if the kind of mobilization that we've done concerning the synod is massive, even though COVID-19 really affected us, because if not for COVID-19, we would have mobilized even our people in America, our people in London, our people in Austria. We would have mobilized all of them. We would have gone to all those places where they are and then shared our vision with them and then make them to think home. Then there is something that's going to happen today, this evening, today. There is this website that we have that we established for the diocese. That website is powerful, very, very. It's not like the kind of website that you see, because we took time. It took us months to develop this. In fact, if not a year, since we came on board, we started working on that website. If you enter into that website, of course, the site, the hosting is in America. It's hosted in America. And all the archdeaconries are captured there. All the churches in the archdeaconries are also captured there. The intention is that people can relate with their home churches through that website. The clergymen that were magnanimous enough to give us their account number, their bank account number, all of them are reflected inside that website. So the intention is that within this synod, we will talk about the website and then we will bring it out for the people. And all our members who are outside, who are not, who are living outside the country, can easily engage their local churches and support them financially, and also know what we are doing. Everything that we are doing as a diocese will be posted in that website. Even our early morning programs will be in that website. Everything will be there. So the intention is that we want to carry everybody along. We want everybody to understand what we are doing, because the name of the game is sincerity and honesty. That's the name of the game. So we want to be very sincere, we want to be very honest. We want to the best of our ability, do things in a transparent nature, that everybody will know what we are doing. At the end of this synod again, whatever comes out of this synod, everybody will be in the know. Nobody will be left in the dark. People will follow, people can engage, people can interact, people can, engage and be conscious of everything that the diocese is doing, both financially and otherwise. So that's just the things I believe that we are doing differently. Thank you.
Thank you. We now go to Vintage. Mr. Peters, you can ask a question.
Hello, Bishop. Good morning, sir. Yes, I want to know what you'll be doing to keep track of the souls that we won. Although where you were before, you set up a modus operandi. Are you going to replicate that here? That's my first question. I have 3 questions. The second question is, in the light of this COVID-19 pandemic, what precautionary measures are you going to take concerning this synod? Will there be social distancing? Will there be mask? Will we be supposed to put on mask and washing of hands and all of that? Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. And finally, this one is on a lighter mood. Anyway, you said you'll be visiting the OB of Uruagu. But we have the Igwe of NNEWI. I wonder why you will not visit the Igwe of NNEWI before visiting the OB of Uruagu.
Okay, let me take from the last question. Well, we have wonderful understanding in NNEWI town. NNEWI is a unique town, actually. NNEWI is a very big town, but we discovered that there is peace in NNEWI because of the kind of Igwe that we have. A peace-loving man. If you look at his mien, look at his demeanor. Our Igwe is a rare gift to us, and we are so proud of him. By the way, yesterday the Igwe gave me a gift of a brand new car. Just yesterday. Brand new Tia Roba. So he's a man we love and we revere and we honor him. So he doesn't have any problem. The OBs, anyone we are coming to, any town that we are visiting in NNEWI, we have the good pleasure to visit the particular OB of that particular, that when we are coming to Okpolo, they will visit the Igwe. But all those other OBs have a kind of a semi-autonomy, so in their jurisdiction. So we don't have any problem with that. Now, on the modus operandi, how are we going to run the synod? I thank you for that question, because it's part of the thing that we're going to do again. People do not know that this thing they call COVID-19 has an what do I now call it? It has a another disinfectant. What do you call something that you use to counter something? That's
antidote.
It's an antidote, but then I'm looking for something like a disinfectant, something that can be sprayed, and it will neutralize the effect of COVID-19. People do not know that thing is in existence. In fact, the thing is so costly that even the state government could not afford it. I'm telling you, so costly. And in this synod, on Wednesday, that is synod, that is tomorrow, by between 5 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. or latest before 6 a.m. between 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. a car will drive into the venue of that cathedral, and we spray this anti-COVID-19 disinfectant. Spray it here. And then on Thursday, the same thing will happen on Thursday morning between 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Then on Friday again between 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. On Saturday again between 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. And then on Sunday between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. The same car will be coming in and will be spreading it over the place. So that even if somebody is coronavirus positive, when you cross the gate of the cathedral, the disinfectant or our powerful anti-COVID-19 will neutralize the effect of so that's the first thing. And we thank God for Ozi Bondo, Prince Dr. Ateze. He's the one that gave us that thing. He's sponsoring it on his own. He's giving it to us free of charge. So we thank God for him, and we pray that God wanted to bless him. He's spending lots and lots of money to get that done for us. So that's the first precautionary measure. Then again, the managing director or chief executive officer of Summit Oil and Gas Limited is producing a customized face mask specifically made for the synod, with the diocesan emblem embedded in the face mask, and he's producing it in such a way that all delegates, in fact all those that will come to the synod, will have customized face mask for the synod. You can't see that in any other diocese. There's no other diocese where you can see that kind of a thing. So and then again, courtesy of engineer Sir Emeka Okwosa, the managing director of Oilserve Nigeria Limited, he brought lots and lots of face masks again, and this time around we are going to also distribute those ones for those that will be coming. That's those that may be coming, especially on Friday and Sunday. We will have more than enough face masks that we give to people. So everybody that will come inside the cathedral, we have more than enough face masks to give to them. So that is part of it. And then again, courtesy of the same engineer Sir Emeka Okwosa, he brought in sanitizers. We have lots and lots of sanitizers, lots and lots of them. So at all the nooks and cranny of the compound, we have sanitizer. We have even, I think we've donated these things to the local organizing committee. We handed it over to them. And then also we have a thermometer, that infrared thermometer that you use to check you and know if your temperature is high. We have it at least. We gave them about 4 of them, I think 4 pieces of them. So courtesy of the same Emeka Okwosa. So and then I don't even know whether you people gave them the hand gloves. The hand gloves. He also gave hand gloves liquid soaps, everything in very large quantity. And we've added this over to the local organizing committee. So to help to make sure that people have this confidence that what we are supposed to do, that we are doing them, and that we have done the most that we can do. So these are kind of the things that we have done to see that people have confidence. And then finally, on your first question, the measures how we can follow up this converse. That's why we are emphasizing on follow-up studies for every local church, every local assembly. Part of what I shared when I was doing my archdeaconry visits was I insisted that follow-up studies must be given priority in our churches. I know why I was saying that, and I've also engaged the EFAC, Evangelical Fellowship in Anglican Communion. I have also talked to them about, in fact, I instituted a follow-up committee at the diocesan level to monitor follow-up in all our churches, because I know that is going to be a challenge if people are converted but they are not followed up. Then what we are doing is neither here nor there. So that's the strategy, to make sure that all the groups, every church, will have a functional follow-up team. And then where we have more than enough teachers, maybe in NNEWI town, then they will have a way of pushing some to the rural areas, like Asia or Zobledo, where we might not have enough capable teachers. So the follow-up team at the diocesan level have been given that assignment to ensure that they make sure that those who are converted are properly followed up. Thank you.
Thank you. We now go to NNEWI online newspaper platform. Mr. Nelson, you have a question for the bishop.
Good day, my Lord Bishop. You said something about the website and having a comprehensive website where the whole Act Dictionary will be captured and the parishes. So I want to ask a very quick question, sir. Some persons that were supposed to be in the Synod won't be making it because of the pandemic, as those traveling from outside the country. So will there be some form of engagement, like a Zoom video conference, where it will capture, like where they can also have a say and maybe communicate with you once, as in even if it's a Zoom, maybe a day or a night where you can have time for those that won't be making it to the
Okay, thank you very much. The issue of the Zoom conference or the virtual conference or whatever, they are all holding prior to the Synod. This Sunday now, I will also be with some people via that kind of conference. But then, what we have planned is that the conference will be relayed to them live. So they can just participate, but they cannot contribute. Whatever their contributions are, because whatever we are doing here, we have different platforms. We have different WhatsApp platforms. We have different platforms through which we are giving them updates on what we are doing. So most of them already are in the know concerning what we are doing. So we have already started receiving feedbacks from them. So what we are going to do is that in the course of the Synod, we are relaying everything live. By the grace of God, we have a television channel, Christian Family Television channel, that will be relaying everything live. You can get it through My TV decoder. And then we have Adon TV, an online television medium through which we'll also be relaying everything we are doing live. And then through Facebook, our facebook.com live will also be showing the thing, and also our YouTube channel will also be there. So these are the media through which we hope to give out information, disseminate information as to the details of what will be happening in the course of the series, especially what will be of interest to them, which is the presidential address and then the Sunday Thanksgiving service. So they will be carried along. Thank you.
Thank you, my Lord. We go to Vanguard newspaper for now. Chimobi, ask the bishop your question.
My Lord, it's good you said that you were bothered by some issues that concerned the Igbos while you were still a priest in Anisha. And today, you have been given opportunity to air those views as a bishop. Number one, my number one question is this. Very soon, Anambra State will be witnessing another election for the governorship of the state. Anambra Central has taken, Anambra North has taken. People are saying that Anambra South, it is the turn of Anambra South. I don't know whether the diocese has a position on that. Secondly, people are also calling for Igbo presidency. You can see that successive governments have come and gone. And you can equally also see that the success of some of those governments, successes of some of those governments were because of the number of Igbos that participated in those governments. Are you satisfied with the composition of the present government as regards the number of Igbos you have there? Secondly, are you also part of those who are calling for Igbo presidency? Then my last question is this. People say all you have to do, that there is a issue of insecurity in the country. Luckily in the southeast we don't have much restiveness of the youths. Somehow we can say we have a good security here. But are you not bothered that most of the times our youths are killed based on issues that they claim to be security issues? Some people say that all you need to do to kill an Igbo youth and extrajudicially and go free is to brand them or brand him Masob or IPOB member. Are you not worried about this? What is your position on this?
Okay, thank you very much. As it were, we came here for Synod. By the grace of God, I've taken time to talk on these issues over and over again since I became a bishop. I've granted interviews to different newspapers and even television channels on my personal view on the state of Nigeria, the state of Igbos, and what have you. And of course, if you go to my Facebook page, you will know that I'm a very vocal person. I've been very vocal on matters concerning Nigeria. But I just don't want to model the issue of Synod with national affairs. I want this conference to concentrate purely on the Synod. Then when I will need to talk about Nigeria, about the Igbos, I will do that passionately. I normally do that very passionately. But that is not to say that I will not address part of your concern. The truth about it is that I believe that the Igbos need to do something strategically concerning their security. Very, very crucial at a time like this, because of the kind of movements that we are seeing, the kind of videos that we are watching, the kind of things that the number of people that are coming down south, and then the way they are being dispatched to different parts of different communities in Igbo land, and then seeing the numerical strength of these people invading our space, as it were. So I think every intelligent Igbo man should be security conscious. We should not wait until maybe villages will be attacked or sacked before we start reacting. I think we should be proactive. And this is why I wish to call again on the governor of this state to do everything within his powers to see that he strengthens the vigilante groups and then hold periodic security summits so that we bring stakeholders together and then we interact and we think aloud and we talk. And then we encourage our people to know what they're supposed to do. As a church, as a diocese, we have our own plan. We are doing our own little bit. We are struggling to do our own, which I will not divulge here publicly. But internally, we are also thinking along security lines. So I think that's the only thing I want to address for now. As for the issue of governorship, issue of what's happening among the clean of Igbos and all what's not, if you go to my Facebook page, you can see my personal reaction to that. I don't want to talk on those issues as the Bishop of NNEWI for now, because the diocese as at now has not taken a stand. Before we take a stand on it, we have to call the stakeholders of the diocese, and then all of us will agree and we say this is our stand, and then we'll make a statement concerning that. But for my personal view, you can go to my personal social media platforms and you see my personal views there. Thank you.
Thank you. The final question will come from our Understand News platform, the Donag Pilot newspaper. Thank you. Ada Lillian, over to you.
Okay, thank you, my Lord. Be talking of security on the national level, so we'd like to come down here. So we are preparing for Synod, and they say that charity begins at home. So what strategies the diocese is putting in place to see that people are secured when they come for Synod? Then another question is this, on the health aspect, in case of emergency, because we don't know, anything can happen. So is there any what measures is the diocese putting in place also to see that the health is being guaranteed to people in case of emergency?
Okay, thank you very much. On security, in the planning of the Synod, we have a security subcommittee. We have a subcommittee that is in charge of security. I know that they have liaised with both the Federal Road Safety in terms of giving us free access, free movement. I also know that they have engaged members of the Nigerian Police Force and then the civil defense people, who will all be there to ensure that there are no security lapses. Moreover, we have our own diocesan security outfit, which is called the Donag Security Service. So they will be there. They will be there. All of them will be there to make sure that they provide the necessary security that is required. We are trusting God that we are going to have a hitch-free Synod. There will be no security, breakdown. And then coming to the health, the same thing also is applicable on the health issue. We also have a health subcommittee headed by a medical doctor, and we have the Diocesan Hospital. The members of staff of that hospital will also be there. I want to believe that their ambulance will also be there, especially on Friday and on Sunday. The ambulance will be there in case we have any emergencies, that these people will respond adequately to ensure that we don't have any cases on hand. Most importantly, our prayer team is very strong. We trust them. They are praying. So I know that I trust our brother Canon Mbamalu. He's a prayer warrior of international repute. So I know that they are very robust and that they have been praying, and that with prayer they will cover everything, both security and health. So let people just come. We are sure that people will come and they will go and they will be happy that they were part of the Synod 2020 in Uruagu. Thank you and God bless you. Okay?
Thank you, my Lord, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, clergymen. The 30 minutes press conference has come to an end, but I want to give a platform for Mr. Emeka Iwameze. He coordinates the media for this Synod. He's from Blaze, and he's going to just make a comment and direct us on other media issues.
Before then, while your gadgets are still on, I will call on 3 people that I mentioned earlier to say just briefly, maybe 1 minute. They will, if there are areas I did not touch, they can just say something on that. Venerable OKC Emeribe, Canon Motanya, and Reverend Chibuzo Odonokwe. So let's start with Venerable OKC.
Thank you, my Lord. the media crew present, and indeed everybody in the house. It is my pleasure to stand before you as directed by His Lordship to speak on the matter on hand, the matter of Synod Preparation 2020. The Bishop has said it all. He has given us the required direction. We are not going to add anything to what he has said. The only thing that is left for every of us is to begin to digest and know where we come in, individually and corporately. As a clergyman, you must know where you come in this agenda, because it is an agenda of making Jesus known, an agenda that is concentrated on our core mandate. Our core mandate: go ye and make the disciples of all nations. That's our core mandate. Now the bishop has let us know where he is going. Our portion is to key in. Our portion is to bring our members on board in order to make this vision a realizable vision, in order to realize it very quickly. So we want to thank our Father in the Lord for thinking this way, for taking us this path. It is a path of honor, of course, because it is a path that will help us come to the realization of the very reason we are clergymen. So we want to thank each and every one of us, because we have started doing something in that direction. The bishop has said it when he was addressing us, that after the mission week, there has been some local efforts, and a lot more are still on board in order to achieve going out, talking to people. But this morning, we've learned more about where he is going, what we're supposed to be doing with the Hausa population, not only the Hausa population, the Yoruba population, not only the Yoruba population, other populations amongst us that are not Christians. He has given us a charge now to make them our target, the target of our evangelical trust. So we are taking the vision from him, and we are promising to run with it, God helping us. So, my Lord Bishop, we are with you.
Thank you.
And we will continue to be with you. Thank you,
God
Lord.
bless you. Okay. Briefly, the Synod Secretary, please come out to the camera so that they will be picking you.
Thank you, my Lord. Please, I want to talk on 3 issues. First of all, what makes this synod a unique synod? In this synod, we are going to have for the first time the pay as you eat. In this synod, we don't want to bother the community, the host community. We want to make things less for them, and people will buy what they want to eat at the rate they want to eat it. So this is one of the things that make this synod unique. Then again, the synod bags are free. For the very first time, normally after the synod quota, we still pay for the bags. And these bags are foreign bags. So they are being given free courtesy of the bishop. Again, I want to talk about the resolution and the pastoral letter. Normally somebody asked about the views of the bishop concerning certain issues in Nigeria. Now, after the synod, you can get that from the resolution. We have a committee on that we after the synod, they will elucidate the vision, the stand of the diocese. Then after that, the pastoral letter that will be written to the churches to remind them the essence of this synod, especially as it concerns witnessing. Thank you very much. Thank you, my Lord.
Okay, thank you very much. Finally,
My Lord Bishop, the rank and file of the clergy, gentlemen of the press. Another area I want to talk about in the synod is about the scope of participation. This is Synod of the Diocese of NNEWI, but this is World Synod. This is Synod for everyone, irrespective of denomination. And I will let us know why. There's a very important thing we have not said here. Another thing that will make the synod very unique, very different, is that there is a public utility project that will be commissioned in the synod. This is not a church project. This is nothing just about the Anglican Church. It's a public utility project. I'm talking about the Cathedral Bypass, the road that connects the Emekofo Road to the Nkwotunkwo Road. Now, in view of most of such projects, because His Lordship has so much, his visions are so rich in such far-reaching projects, in the same way, he has also cast his net wide in mobilizing every public-spirited, God-fearing man to be part of the synod. All the 9 communities that make up the Diocese of NNEWI, they are traditional rulers, they are president generals of their town unions, everybody, all of them has been invited. All of them have been invited, and we continue to follow up on them to encourage them to ensure that they are here. All the men of timber and caliber, if you please, to use such expression to describe them, they will come. A lot of them also have given their word that they are with us. So we want to say that indeed it's going to be a very wonderful time out there, beginning tomorrow, ending on Sunday, to the glory of God. Thank you.
My Lord Bishop. My name is Emeka Iwameze. I work with Blessed FM or Refite. I help in coordination of media as regards this synod. I want to update us on the activities we've done so far and the ones we are expecting prior to the synod. Before now, we've held a press conference where Lord Bishop announced all the activities lined up for the synod. That was on early July, and it was aired on 2 television channels, National Television Authority, NTA, and Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS. And before now, about 2 weeks ago, we started running a request card where people sent in their wishes for the bishop. And for that 2 weeks, 3 radio stations, ABS, Blessed FM or Refite, and Authority Radio, NNEWI, have been running this request show. That's part of activities informing our people about the synod. Then since yesterday, Monday, we've been running announcements, and we believe the announcements will end tomorrow. And then we'll have what we call news commentary that will come up tomorrow on Authority by after 7 a.m. news in the morning. They will run a news commentary on this, the Assistant Synod. Blessed FM will run their own news commentary after 8 a.m. news tomorrow morning. Authority will run another Igbo version of the news commentary after their 10 a.m. news tomorrow, while Blessed FM will run another Igbo version of the news commentary after their 8 p.m. Igbo news tomorrow. We hope to get the full reportage of the synod, especially the presidential speech on Friday, and the news reports of these
Friday event, and then Sunday Thanksgiving will come up by Monday, both from Blaze FM or Refite, Authority FM, NNEWI, and ABS Radio, Oka. These are the areas I want to enlighten us so that we'll follow up, especially when, as it regards the news reportage of Monday. We will still give, I think there are WhatsApp platforms where the times of this news update will come up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. God bless you. So, before we say the closing prayer, let me just, okay, MSCO conference, so can see back what's buying us. Kai kene mwada nene bia sunyerai na conference. Wene mwa ga gozi no nene. Then, ndị na-achụ nta akụkọ, ndị nta akụkọ Chineke ga-agọzi unu, enwe ga-agba unu ume iji ozi unu ga-aga nke ọma. Ekpere anyị na-ekpe bụ na Chineke ga-enyere anyị niile aka mee ka ihe anyị na-eme ga ọfụma n'aha Jizọs Kraịst bụ Onyenwe anyị. Amen. Weta microphone. Okay. Weta microphone ka anyị Archdeacon nke okpere anyị ekpere mmechi. Na Archdeacon Mmụọka n'obu ụzọ wee bịa. Before then, echi niile nyegodo Synod Secretary ka ọ maa akwa maka echi otu echi ga-esiga, then
kelee Jehova niile ọ dị mma.
N'ihi na ruo mgbe ebi ka ebere ya dị.
Biko echi a ga-ebido mmemme maka Synod nke ndị brigade ga-eme n'ogige a malite na elekere 12 nke ehihie 12 o'clock. Emesịa nke a Bishop na entourage anyị gwago ndị deacon niile na fa ga-esonye ya na ndị bi around here, like ndị nọ DCC St. Stephen, DCC at Deaconry St. Stephen na environs, fa ga-join na entourage a ga-eji wee jebe na nke Obi Uruagụ. Moto ga-apụ ebe a na 1 o'clock on the dot. Anyị na-ene anya na by 1:30 anyị ga-anọ na nke Obi Uruagụ. Ndị brigade na ndị ọzọ agwagofe ife ga-eme. Then from nke Obi Uruagụ anọsi ebe a 3 o'clock a ga-aka ụka na Cathedral Church of St. Mary. Then after the akasi ụka eme Bible study nke mbụ wee dịkwazie nwanne echi. Thank you, my Lord. Registration ga-ebido na 12 o'clock. Mana fa ga na ebe a by 11. Fa ga na by 11.
Because na ndị ọzọ ameso wee je na nke Obi ga-agaba straight na cathedral. So because I need too much crowd. No, ndị ga-eje na nke Obi bụ ndị ga-afa bịalụzie. Then ha made their registration before ji wee agbasa ụka ọkpọtavio. Then mana ndị ọzọ, ndị ọrụ ifute ọzọ bụrụ ndị ozu ha ga-aga straight to cathedral, okay? Apart from the archdeacons, Luzeba na collect ya ife ndị ọzọ. Okay, daalụ nụrụ nna onye nwanyị gọzie unu n'aha Jizọs. Ka anyị kpee ekpere. Ka anyị kpere Chineke.
Na Bishop anyị na-ekpere maka ụdị ọgbakọ, o mepekwala anya ya, anyị ekpere n'afa Jizọs Kraịst.
Amen.
Anyị na-ekene gị maka na ịbụ Chukwu, ọmalịcha Chukwu na-eme ọmalịcha ife. Daalụ maka diocese a, daalụ maka na Bishop na nwunye na ndị niile ije eji ozi, ma ndị ụkọchukwu dị ọrụ ụka niile na ọra mmadụ bụ delete onye nwe anyị ije ozi a eji n'ụtụtụ a egosigokwa n'anyị ebe nna anyị bụ onye isi nchụaja na diocese a na-alụtụ aka ife bụ obie and ife abụ obie bụkwa ebumnobi Chineke. Anyị ayọzie gị ka ị gọzie ya gaa n'iru nye amamife na nghọta si n'elu ezi ntụziaka n'ododo nke mmụọ nsọ ka iji ozi a wee gazie etu o kwesịrị mịta ọtụtụ mkpụrụ nke a ga-eji ya ha nsọ gị otuto dị ka alaeze ekwensu ga na-atanata, alaeze Chineke a na-agbawanye n'afa Jizọs. Gọzie mmadụ niile sonye n'ije ozi a, gọziela anyị
NNEWI Diocese gọzie Anambra gọzie Nigeria na mba ụwa anyị na-ekene gị etu ife niile sifu na-emegesikwa ọ ga-adịrị ụmụ gị mma dịrị diocese ya mma site na Jesus Christ bụ onye nwe anyị. Ela anyị ugbu a na mgbe niile. Amen.
Biko o nwere